Looks like we have a great crowd here. A lot of early arrivers. I like that. So find the chat room. You can find that on the sidebar, and under the green under the green line it says chat, polls, attendees, pop-ins, videos. Say hello. Introduce yourself to the group. Say hello. Not sure if everyone's familiar with Google Hangout, but you will be after today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's see some chatting. Okay. Terry, welcome. So Terry is managing the slides, and I think if everyone can hear me properly, put your name into the chat room. Oh, hi, Madeline. Introduce yourself, because this is two-part. You know, one is marketing yourself within the industry, but the other is let's get a group going. Let's get connected. Let's connect here, and then let's connect again at GlobalShop, and you know, we can help people. We can help each other be more successful. Hi, Kim. Hi, June. Bring you some warm weather from Cali. Who else is out there? So, Terry, would you mind switching to the slides? Just looked at my my slide manager's. She muted herself, so I'm gonna watch her. I'm gonna watch her text me so that I know what's going on. If you can't hear me, then put something in the public chat, and that way we know that we're having technical difficulties, because this is really a crazy technological. It's a fun process, but it can get challenging. So just say hello. Hi, Corrine, Nicole, Michelle, Julian, Susan. We have a great group of people here. So let's wait another minute to get people in and see what we need. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we'll just take another minute. And this is while it's not a verbally open forum, it is definitely a forum where if you have tips and ideas or thoughts that you can share with the group, I would love to have you put those in the chat box, and we'll collect those and share them. If you want a copy of the chat room, then for sure we can send that too. I'll make a copy of that. So who else is out there? Catherine, welcome, Kat. Kareem, we already said hello to you. It's nice to see you. Sort of see you. All right. All right, so let's get started. So we are here to talk about Popeye Women's League presentation of marketing yourself in the industry. So I am going to actually turn my video off just so that the broadband is actually more effective, and tend to get less glitches that way. But know that I'm here, because you'll hear my voice. You'll probably hear way too much of my voice, but here we go. Oh, that's a great picture. So here we go, marketing yourself in the industry. Oh, I asked you to say hello, and people did that, so great. What, Terry, could you go to the next slide? So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Pat Weiland. I actually started in sales, and I started in, well, radio sales, but that was a million years ago. But so I started in POP sales, and I sold corrugate and metal, wire, wood, plastic for E&E Display Group. And I don't know if anybody knows them, but they are no longer in existence. And loved the industry, loved retail, loved everything about what I did, and then found myself buying store fixtures with Disney, and loved that. Had big giant projects, and And then I realized I am passionate about helping people love what they do. And so I went through school and really found my heart in executive coaching. So for me, I'm deep roots in. So I'm not sure what that means, but I am talking to everyone, I think. So if you have a question, if you put it in the chat room, then everyone knows that you ask a question. So, let's see. Okay, so let's see, right? Oh, so Terry, so what we need to do is we need to have you press Terry's screen, because then you'll see the actual slides, if that makes sense. So Google Hangout, there's two administrators, and you probably don't need to know all this technology. But what will happen is if you press my picture, then so if you press my picture, you will only see me and the waves of my sound. But if you press Terry's picture or Terry, then you'll see the slides, which will be so much more satisfying than seeing my solid picture. So Terry, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so marketing yourself within the industry, and especially we're talking really about GlobalShop. Like, how do you get ready for it? So what we want to talk about is start with the end in mind. How to make measurable goals and really know if you are on the mark and if you're headed in the right direction. So then the question is, what's in it for me? What's my career success is the next section we'll go on. Then showtime. What happens where? The, you know, walking the show prepared. And then what do you do after the show? So Terry, next slide. Okay, so if, let's see, I'm going to respond to Terry's. And with that, Terry's admin. So if you hit her square at the bottom, you'll see the slides. Okay, so technology is what it is, so we will make the most of it, right? Okay, so start with the end in mind. How do you make measurable goals? How do you get to make them quantifiable? And the only way to know if you're achieving your goals is to make them quantifiable. Anybody who has to do performance reviews knows that the only way to get that promotion is to get something that says, yes, I achieved that goal. And how do you make it? You put a number to it. You put a time frame to it. You make it quantifiable in the number of conversations. Number of conversations, number of projects. Like maybe you're going to go and find a new vendor to get a project done. So how many people do you want to actually give the information to? Get a number. So yes, Julian, absolutely. We will send you the slides afterwards, and this actually will be posted. It's being recorded, and it will be posted on a YouTube channel, so for all the world to see, but we can make it private. All right. So on the plane home, how will you know that you were successful? And we're a little bit ahead of the slides. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that who benefits from your success, right? You have internal clients who may need new vendors. You have an employer that has expectations from you when you go to the show. And you have external clients who may be looking to solve a problem. So what is all of these ultimately lead to your career success and that added value, right? So my goals were really what materials were new. And I had a lot of internal clients. I had I had employer expectations, and we did have external clients because we had retailers who had our product in store, and they had expectations, and and sales had expectations of us to come up with new ideas and put DVDs in new places. I think the funniest place was, how do we get DVDs in the freezer section? Yeah, random, challenging, but if we could get that, we'd get more real estate. So how many people will you want to talk to about your projects? And your career success is you effectively using your time at GlobalShop. So next slide. So what is your value proposition increase, right? So how do you like, what are the different options, right? What products will you find there? What resources might you come up with? Who might you meet that might be a great resource or know of one? What people do you want to meet? And what processes do you want to learn more about? One of my goals was to stay visible in the industry. Now, that's not very quantifiable, and yes, unless I say I was there. That's quantifiable. Okay, so the next slide has a lot of different ideas about potential goal areas. And hopefully you can see that and make it big enough. But there's ideas, industry knowledge, career success, and people you might want to meet. Let's see. I'm getting an email that somebody cannot get in, so I'm going to respond. So I love that. Okay, so what area might you want to actually create goals in? You know, some of you want to learn a new process. I've never seen 3D printing in action. I think it's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of applications for it. I'm not really sure, you know, what that might look like. So if I can get a chance to look at it, I'm excited about it. And that might be one of my personal professional goals. So if you want to enter into the chat room, which goals you might like to, and if you want to keep it private, you're welcome to keep it private. You don't have to share with the group. But if somebody has an idea of how you can meet that goal, then, you know, we're all here to help each other. So let's see, what goals do you have in mind to go after at GlobalShop? So find the chat room. Remember, underneath the attached sidebar. Chat bar, chat to public. And let's just see where's the group? What does the group really want to achieve? What makes you want to go to GlobalShop? I know there's some people who are being, they're part of a booth, which means that it's not really optional for them. But let's just make this fun. Because the reality is you're going to be there anyway. You may as well make it fun for yourself, right? All right, so nobody's going to share goals. Okay, very private group here. All right, so long story shorter, let's go to the next slide. Oh, Crane. I went silent. Oh, I did. How's that? Can you hear me now? Okay, so, oh, now I have my camera on. So tell me in the chat room, just from a technology standpoint, do you see the slides or do you see me? To learn about the industry, that's fabulous. New to the PLP business, so that's also very cool. How many people are new to GlobalShop? Who has been there before? Who has been to GlobalShop? So I was going to do a poll. Let's see if we can do that poll. Beautiful, Nicole. Thank you. So how many people, this is their first time at GlobalShop? Beautiful. Thanks, Madeline. Oh, I like it. Now you're chatty. I love it. Keep them coming. Good. Okay, so how many people for the first is their first trip? New, great, Joanna. So we have ways at the end. We're going to talk about ways to connect at the so you don't have to walk in alone, and you can walk the show with somebody. Great, Susan. So first time, good, 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 good. Madeline, you're good. You're new to GlobalShop. That's cool. And you're giving 2 presentations. Shoot, I wish we had a little slide on that. Great, Kim. So we've got a lot of newbies. Good, good, good. Joanna, you're new. Good. Good. So, Michelle, so you're fairly new, second year. So you practically have great tips and tricks. And anybody who has tips and tricks for managing GlobalShop, bring them on. Bring them on. Put them in the chat room because the reality is, we all need good ideas. Yeah. Okay. So could we go to the next slide, Terry? Okay. So getting ready and going for the show. So keep your eye on the prize. What's your goal? Now you have your goal all lined up. Maybe not, but you have your goal. So what is your single-minded focus? Napoleon Hill, who wrote a book 100 years ago, almost 190 years ago, which is still really popular, talked about the success factor of Carnegie Hall, yeah, Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie. Sorry about that. Talked about his single-minded focus is what made people successful. Like no other options were there. So what is your single-minded focus? Like, I think it was Kim said it wanted to network with as many people as possible. That's fantastic. That is a single-minded focus. Now you have to figure out which kinds of people that you want to meet, right? So find a hook line. What I used to do, because I worked a booth, you have about 3 seconds to get or lose somebody's attention. And so what I would do is I'd come up with a non-threatening, sort of an easy entry to the conversation. So what I would use is, if it was a woman, I'd say, and if this were true, your shoes are really cute. How come they don't hurt you? Or how is it they don't hurt you? Or what are you finding at the show that's interesting? What have you seen that stand out? Something that's an open-ended, not a yes or no question, but an open-ended, so a how question or what question. And that will hook them into a conversation. That'll engage somebody in a conversation, right? And by the way, this is a different question than your ask or your goal. So I put business cards in here because I have gone to shows having forgotten my business cards, as ridiculous as that is. Organizational tools. How are you going to track all that you do, all your goals, the contacts, the promises made? Because there's nothing worse than a promise made that's not delivered on. Okay, so then you also want to figure out who's your target market. What does that person look like? Is that person in a big consumer products company, or is that person in a local vendor that might satisfy some fulfillment need? What about an installation company? So you kind of identify somebody who has global presence, somebody who has domestic presence, somebody who has the right kind of extruder, somebody who has stock parts, right? So what's your target market? And you might have several depending on who you want to meet. And if you're looking for a job, then you want to go kind of vague, but you want to really make sure that you have an identified target market, because those are the people who you want to connect with. You want to be nice to everyone else, but you want to actually connect with a certain group. So your social footprint. When they go to do research on you, what will they see? What will they see, right? So check out your LinkedIn profile. Does the headline rock you? Does it actually describe you? Who are you when they come to look at you at LinkedIn? Because you want to make sure that you are prepared for success, right? So if you guys are social media gurus, start tweeting. Tell people you're going to be there. I've got some hashtags in one of the later slides. and post to Facebook. Who's going to be at GlobalShop? Would love to connect with people at GlobalShop. In LinkedIn, if there's somebody you want to meet that might be there, what a great excuse to reach out and talk to them, right? So globalshop.org, ton of resources, and I've got some screenshots for you. The mobile app, I didn't quite download it yet, but that's on my list of things to do. All right, so you have a lot to do before that, but you can move forward, Terry. So really what we want to do is, what is your marketing strategy? What is your unique offer, right? So part of that is really knowing what to say when they say, well, why should I hire you? They're never really going to say that, but why should I hire you? Why should I use your company? Why should I use you? Why should I connect you with that person you want to, right? You have to have some talking points. And I had a really important thought. Hopefully it comes back. So okay, so this is what I call your personal brand. And within that, I want you to have 3 talking points, because 3 is the number that you can remember. You can remember 1, 2, or 3. Mine is, I'm super organized. 2 is I see patterns and I can create a system really easily. And the 3rd one is that I have a sense of humor, I think. But that's my unique selling proposition, or my personal brand, right? So how do you get there? What you do is you look at your experience. What made you successful in those experiences? And even if you're new in the industry, you're new, bring it from other industries. So what are your personal strengths? What are you really good at? What comes naturally to you? And there's a great book called Strengths-Based Leadership. And I think everybody should have that, and everybody should get the book, get a new book, so you can get the free code in the back, which is not free because you bought the book. But you get the code in the back, and you find out what are your strengths. And that's what you play to. I'm a maximizer. That's my #1 strength, which basically tells me that I can make anything more efficient. Sometimes I make it too efficient, but I can make anything more efficient. And then, so passion is the 3rd thing that comes into your brand. And what do you care about? Why? What do you care? What gets you juiced? What makes you happy? And for me, and I talked about my passion of helping people love what they do. So somehow you have to squeeze that into 3 talking points, right? So I guess what I'd like to do again is reach out and find out if people have questions on that. We're actually doing a workshop on Know Your Personal Brand at the event, which is free to, little plug for my workshop, free to Popeye Women's League members. So I'll have a slide on that too. And ask questions, whatever question you had. If you can't quite get it, send me an email. I'll help you work through that. All right, so Terry, should we go on to the next slide? Okay, now that you got your talking points, you have your target market. Let's start. Okay, so this is a really tiny slide, but basically what it is from GlobalShop 2015's website, and it is www.globalshop.org. Oh, you know what? My chat is not keeping up to date. Oh, Corrine has a goal. Meet new people, find clients that are good fit without being smarmy. You're good at that, Corrine. That's fantastic. Okay, so GlobalShop networking. Do we have more questions? Any questions? Love questions. Okay, so this is a screenshot of that place called globalshop.org, and when you go in there, you have to go in, and when you register, it gives you access to this. And what you see is so small, but it's really, you're going to create a profile, and then you can view and search who's attending, what exhibitors are there, what products do they have, and you can actually create. Oh, thank you, Terry. You can actually create a plan from inside here. which is pretty cool. There's a lot of resources in here. I just picked a few because I didn't have a lot of time to go deep into this organization or this website. So Terry, can you go to the next slide? I guess you have to make it normal size first, huh? Okay, so attendee companies are listed, and then the next slide is, if you go to the next slide, the funkiest, coolest thing, and a little bit scary, is if people registered with their Facebook or their LinkedIn, there's a link there. So you can find, I think I just found somebody that's Fernando Vargas Escarrero. He's the founder and CEO of Q Swimwear. So if you're looking for consumer products people, you can link to their link to their Facebook, find out what they look like, and then you could potentially run into them, right? You know, I don't know. We didn't have that when I was, you know, marketing myself or doing research on potential customers. But it could be called cyber stalking, but I would just call it market research. I think it's pretty amazing, like what you can get your hands on right now. And then in that slide is the internet site, the actual address, but you have to go in through your profile. I was amazed at what I found there. I'll be going back in to see more. Okay, so the next slide, for those of you who tweet, there's a huge Twitter site for GlobalShop. And, if you want to get known in the industry, put your name down there. People read that, especially in the people who actually are influencers at GlobalShop. So have fun with it. Get a personality and show how much fun you are and show who you are on this. Okay? So what questions do we have? Yes, I probably should slow down, right? So, all right, so Twitter presence. So let's go to the next. The next wave. Thank you. Okay, so within that same site is as you select exhibitors to go visit, they'll highlight them on a map for you, which you can then print out or access on your mobile site, on the GlobalShop mobile site. It's crazy. So who will use this site after knowing that it's here today? Who's kind of excited about cyber stalking? Besides me, I mean. It's good to do research before you get there, because I think as you walk in, and we'll talk about that, and it's kind of too late because there's a lot of overwhelm there. All right, so no questions, but we'll keep going. All right, so next one. So this is a map of the GlobalShop, and as you can see, there are a lot of booths and a lot of territory to cover. Vegas, it's big. It's bigger than you think, and it takes longer to get anywhere. But you want to make sure that you see who you want to see. This is your time to be selfish and that single-minded focus for success. Oh, great, Madeline. So you got the app. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so showtime. You're walking in. You're ready. Well, you might go to the welcome reception the night before. But showtime starts early on Tuesday morning, right? Woody Allen says 85% of life is showing up. Show up. Go. Go early when people are fresh. Stay late when people don't have everyone to talk to. Tuesday will probably be the busiest day, but Wednesday afternoon you can probably talk to anybody, right? And stay focused on your goals. This is your turn. This is your time. This is about you. And even if you go with a group, it's still, what do you want to get out of it? You may have a couple multiple goals. You may have parallel goals that may not be public, but you might want to make sure that you actually have time to walk the show by yourself. So let people know you're there with social media, especially if people that you wanted to connect with. And then watch for, when you're talking to people, watch for, this is watch potential vendors in action. I used to do that. I'd stalk on a different level. Yes, I'm a stalker. So I would watch their booth and see just kind of like how they treated people and who actually went in and how did they manage their time. And I think, Corrine, I have to tell you that you were probably one of the greatest welcoming people at the show, because you made me feel welcome when I had no place to talk to, no place to go, and I didn't really have people to talk to. And I just remember you being so warm and welcoming that, I wanted to do business with you. So even though it wasn't your account, it was still the right way to treat people. So again, this is your time. Manage your time. And I have to say, I met more people when I walked the show by myself. You're not as hard to approach. You're more likely to talk to people, and you get to do exactly what you want. It's kind of like shopping by yourself. You get to do exactly what you want for as long as you want. And then you can walk away from somebody who may not be in your target market. Whereas if you're with somebody else, you're kind of there. Your time is basically cut in half because their agenda versus your agenda, right? So on the next slide, we talk about beyond hello, my name is. Okay, and this is really like, how do you talk to people, right? So in every situation, it always pays to be generous and respectful. Be kind, welcoming, right? Just be a normal person. We're all people. We're all kind of not sure where to look or who to talk to, or we certainly don't want to be like, as a buyer of big projects. It really is. It's a challenge to get the right people to talk to you. So talk to them like, okay, so here's another great book, old school book called Dale Carnegie. Yes. How to Win in Friends and Influence People. It's really about being more curious about them than about your own agenda. And it might sound simple, not easy to do, but I've learned a lot about just engaging with people and talking to them. Use your hook line, right? Have a hook line. Use situational comedy. So, if it's super hot, you can talk about hot. You can talk about cold. You do it with your girlfriends. So do it with just anybody there. We're kind of all in this together. And so one thing I do want you to ask permission to stay in touch with LinkedIn. Ask permission to link, which then they might give you their card, right? But it's innocuous. It's not going to say, oh, could I call you? Could I call you 6 times in the next 3 weeks? Because that's not fun. But remember your ask. Like, what is your goal? Is it appropriate for you to ask? Like, if you're looking for somebody to help you with a vendor to help you with a project, sure, it's appropriate to ask. That's what they're there for. Is it appropriate to ask for a job? Is it appropriate to ask for a sale? No, you're not going to get an order there, but you might get a project. But you might get an additional conversation. And that's really what your goal is to get the next conversation. So treat people like people, and you will absolutely have more fun, right? I've met more people standing in line for lunch or maybe at the bar, but it's just it's it's easy if you go in with the reality that we're all in this together. We all want to be more successful, and we all have something to gain by meeting more people. So questions? I know none of this is rocket science, but the reality is this is your show. So the next slide, which is a tip, a non-productive conversation. I know. Ditch the time wasters. Just ditch them. Okay, so there might be some strategy. First, you have to know that they are time wasters. You have to be conscious of how much time are you giving to somebody that is in your target market, or especially if they're not in your target market. Because if they're in your target market, you want to talk to them, but you don't want to talk to them too long. And by that I mean overstay your welcome, or go into the area of you've said what you wanted, you got your ask, you gave them the details of the project, they can go away, they have the information to contact you. So basically you've shared the information, but sometimes people want to hang on, which is awkward. But really what you need to do is you need to be direct and nice, always be polite, but watch for body language. So the single biggest body language tell, and I've done a lot of research on body language and I'm totally fascinated by it, is when you edge your feet away from somebody, you are done. Conversely, when they edge their feet away from you, they're done. So watch the feet, which could actually lead to a great comment about the shoes. However, but glancing around and not connected to you, but staying there, kind of using you as a, I'm not here by myself. I have somebody to talk to. Also, it's not productive for you. It's your chance. This is your show. You need to be selfish. And I don't mean rude. I mean selfish, self-serving. This is what's the ROI for you on staying and talking to that person 10 more minutes, right? You might meet the best person ever in the next 10 minutes, but not if you're talking to that person. Okay, so what do you think about that? Any shocking news there? Anything that surprised you? Okay, I'm going to get my coach hat on and be much better with silence. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say is be direct but vague. I have a meeting. Oh, but before you point, find out which way they're going. Yes. Examples of non-productive conversations, negative or complaining about whatever, because negativity isn't going to get you more successful. A competitor that isn't collaborative. You have competitors that are collaborative, or vendors that are collaborative with you to help you with being more successful. But some competitors stick by you to see who you're talking to. Sometimes we have a colleague that's an energy suck. I'm not sure if I get to say that, but you know who they are, and you know that you need to get rid of them, or you need to go walk. I'm just going to walk down this way by myself. I'm good. So, okay, so I need to wait. I need to give you 30 seconds. So, what do you think? What's your best idea so far on the non-productive conversations? And I'll give you a couple more examples of non-productive conversations. A prospect that has taken too much time from your goals, because you know their number, you know that you got the commitment for another conversation. You got you basically got the sale. They said yes. Recognize that they said yes, and don't waste their time, right? So the current client who has taken too much time, random person who needs something from you, distracting, but helpful. I don't know. And the vendor who won't leave your side for fear that you'll find someone else. That's not good either. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to tell you was, you can look at your watch many times and get more obvious if you need to get rid of them. I also wrote a blog about 50 ways to get someone out of your office. Probably should resurrect that, repost that. All right, so I'm not seeing anything in the chat room. Maybe these ideas are all completely new or all completely old hat. So remember, this is your show, and how are you going to be more selfish and be okay with it? Anyone want to share how they're going to be more selfish? That was a yes or no question. Let's see. How will you be more selfish? That is a wide open answer question. Fantastic, Michelle. I mean, you don't have to do it for the whole show, but certainly a chunk of it, right? And there is a lapse of time between when I ask a question and when you hear it. So it's kind of weirdly 30 seconds is a long time for a lapse. And so I just keep talking. But the reality is, I would love to know how you're going to break away. How are you not how are you going to break away, but what are you going to do to make sure that you get what you need from the show? And it's okay to ditch the time wasters. Nice, Kim. Fabulous. Fabulous. And you know what? I think the best part about this hour is actually putting a conscious thought process to how will you make this show so productive for you. And it's okay to be self-serving, right? How will you make sure that you get what you need from this show? When when I was when I was at Disney, I pretty much hid my badge, but I also wanted to have my own visibility. I knew a lot of people in the industry long before I was at Disney. Being at Disney made me more popular, but I definitely walked the show by myself, which wasn't always easy to do, but I did it. And I actually found vendors that nobody else found because you talk to somebody and and what was I going to say? Okay, because I'm getting texted with ideas. So so I find vendors that nobody found because I actually went through the entire show. And I found materials that were really super interesting. And because I was on the permanent side, I had a lot more responsibility about plastics or injection molding or blow molding, rotational molding, all those fun processes that I haven't touched in a while. And so you certainly go through a different part of the show for that. So let's see. Kim, good. Susan, good. Fantastic. 10 to 20 is a great goal because then you'll know, did you do it, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, Terry, because we have about 15 minutes left. Now that it's over, so then what? So what, right? So you're on the plane, you had your goals, you figured it out, you identified your goals, like your 10 to 20, right? Your idea of what success looks like. You're on the plane. So did you do it? Did you meet your numbers? Now, if you're in sales, that language kind of makes you nervous. But did you meet your numbers is, were you true to yourself, right? Whatever your boss's goal for you was is not necessarily your goal, right? So follow up, follow up, follow up. You know, I only handed my card when I was at Disney, and I'm not going to say that again, but to people I really wanted to have contact me. And I'm not sure if they really understood how important it was that I gave them my card, but not really that many, a low percentage of people actually followed up. I was surprised. In sales, it would never occur to me to take someone's card and not follow up. The reality is, if you follow up, you're ahead of the pack. So whether it's for a job, whether it's for a new hire, whether it's for, to hire somebody to be on your team, whether it's to sell them something, whether it's, to get a new project quoted, whatever it is, right? Samples, send them, right? Track those promises made and then act on them. Email with more details or connect on LinkedIn, call to set up, whatever it is that you promised, do it. So, and then also, who is it that you need to report on the show, on the upside of that show, right? Who is it that wants to know that you are more successful, you are more successful because of that show? Like sometimes if I had, when I was in sales, when I had clients who didn't go to the show, I would go and just have lunch with them and talk about what I saw at the show and, see if there was anything that was interesting to them, any questions, or I'd ask them ahead of time, is there anything you're looking for? What a great excuse to find a new project for somebody, right? New process, new materials, whatever. Let me go look. Let me see what's there, right? And then reporting back on the upside of the show. Maybe you do a PowerPoint, maybe not. Maybe you simply have pictures or some sort of way to report back, and especially if you're being funded by an employer, you want them to know the value add to them. So you get to go next year, right? Okay, so accountability partner. This is the place where you could get yourself an accountability partner. Say, 1 month after the show, we regroup. You regroup with somebody else, Michelle, maybe with Terry, or Susan with Kim, or whoever, right? And say, did you do it? Did you do it? Okay, so get an accountability partner. All right, so what's the next slide? And we're done. So we start with the end in mind, meaning measurable goals. The what's in it for me, my career success, really what is going to make me, what's going to add value to my career success, right? What am I going to do at the show? We talked about how to walk around the show, how to go prepared. And then what about afterwards? Reporting and follow-up. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. There's a couple of things I want to make you aware of. But put your questions in now. Because of that 30-second delay, it happens. Okay, so what's the next slide? Okay, this is very small, but there's 3 areas that we can connect in. So obviously, we'll be I'll be at GlobalShop, and I'll do a workshop on Tuesday afternoon, 3 to 4, right before the cocktail party. So know your personal brand. It'll be a workshop where you actually do a little deep dive on creating a personal brand, which is going to be fun. And then after that is the Connect for Success, the Women's League, Popeye Women's League cocktail reception. And that's from 4 to 6. So I will be in the OMA area, and you see my picture, you've seen me talking. I'll be in the OMA area on Tuesday morning from 10 to noon, and I will be handing out tickets, drink tickets, admission tickets, that are good for a free drink. So come see me and connect with me. There's a group of us meeting at the welcome reception on Monday night. And I'm sure that we'll have some sort of indicator that we are Popeye Women's League people. And I'll have my pin on, which I should have worn today, which is the the really cool logo with the women's head logo, global logo. So questions? And connect with me on LinkedIn, Pat Weiland, Patricia Weiland. And then we can make a plan to connect. You can volunteer to work at the GlobalShop, which actually really kind of is a great way to meet people and get to know them. And by the way, get away from your pack of colleagues. So what else would you like to know about? You can go on the Popeye's site, the Women's League, and join, and that way you'll get the workshop for free, and you'll be part of the member meeting, which is Wednesday. I think it's 2 to 3 p.m. And let me know if you want to meet me at the OMA area. I will look for you, which is a great excuse to get away from your pack, by the way, your colleagues, your team. You need to meet a new colleague at the OMA area to make sure you get your ticket. So what questions are out there? Who's ready? Who's more ready for GlobalShop now? One other thing is, if you're credentialed, and I believe somebody can help correct me on this, I think it is Marketing at Retail Certified. Mark, this hour counts for 1 CEU credit, 1 hour of CEU, which will automatically be sent to you. Okay, so since this is a casual setting, what is your advice regarding keeping the conversation at a professional level without being overbearing, but still being casual and comfortable enough for the event? Kim, what is your goal? What is your focus? Is it sales? Or your job? Or Andrea, right. Hope to see everyone at the Popeye Women's League cocktail reception and the members meeting. Right? So Andrea, is the members meeting, is that something we RSVP for, or is that you just show up at the Island Room B? I think it's Island Room B or C. Mhm. Beautiful. Okay, so Kim, you work with the sales team, but you want to go more towards marketing. I think that you'll meet some interesting people on the Popeye Women's League because you can get some nice mentoring from this group. And so your original question is how bearing, how overbearing. You know, I think that if you set your goal on the conversation after um, out after GlobalShop, rather than the goal of, you know, I want you to be my customer, or I want you to hire me for marketing, or I want to be more of a marketing partner for you. Um, Go for a conversation. So you know what I'd really like to do is in the next 3 weeks, I'll give you a chance to dust off and regroup after Popeye or after GlobalShop. Um, I'll give you 3 weeks, and then what I'd love to do is come have a conversation. If you're in the same city, then you definitely want to have coffee, or come see them at their office or whatever it is. If you want it to be more private, then you want to have a coffee off-site. But to go for the agreement of an appointment, I think is your responsibility, not necessarily just you know self-serving. It is what you're supposed to do because Global Shop is about starting a conversation and starting a dialogue to create relationships with additional people. And so, thank you, June, for the pre-registration clarification. Thanks. Um, so my point is that this is the start of a dialogue, and you basically are promising to want to carry that dialogue on. So come talk to me at Global Shop. Talk to anyone on the Women's League. That we're all here to help women um, market themselves better and be more successful and have more fun. And that's my goal. Okay, so what else do we have? We have 2 minutes left. Hopefully that answered your question. But Kim, anybody has a question of me, please send it to PW for Pat Weiland at sageforchange.com, which is SAG, S as in Sam, A, G as in George, E, the number 4, change, CHANGE.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message, and then yeah, let's meet at Global Shop. Let's connect. I love to help people strategize, right? And yes, come to the members meeting. Come join Women in Popeye. All right? So we're right up against the hour, and I so appreciate all of you being here and adding to the conversation. And if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. Come see us at the welcome reception, OMA area for me on Tuesday morning, the workshop, uh, the reception, the cocktail reception, which should be just a really nice event, and then the member meeting on Wednesday. So you could have a full time of connecting with great women in POP. All right? Popeye Women's League. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon. Oh, thanks, Terry, for putting my email address, in the chat box. All right, thank you so much. So appreciate you being here. I look forward to meeting you too, Joanna. Thanks, Madeline. Bye, June. See everybody in Vegas.